Hi friends, this is May Lahato from Christchurch, New Zealand. For those who don't know me, I make travel videos and lifestyle videos as well. And now we're making our second episode of my series, which is called hashtag Get to Know Me. And today, we were gonna talk about why did I choose to live abroad. So I have guests with me, a very close friend of mine who also is living in abroad, and we were very close friends in the Philippines. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Zee. Hi Zee!
Hi, Ate Zali. Zali with a Z. How are you?
Um, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I woke up very early today and I'm very excited.
Wow.
I'm so excited to have this vlog with you. This has been my dream.
Charge your dream, Jude. This has been like a goal of me to really start a vlog about life, about adulting, because it's been so hard doing this life on my own.
I'm so used to being with a lot of people back home, and just having someone to talk to is a big factor for me and in my life.
Because you and I were so used to doing that, right?
Yes.
Before we moved to here in greener pastures. So
What are we gonna talk about today?
So before anything else, I also just want to thank you for having me here. Like it's been a while that I've also thought of coming up with something like this on a certain platform. It's just that I didn't have enough um, confidence to do it on my own. So when you messaged me, I did not have any second thoughts to jump in on your offer
Offer, Char. 1 million offer.
on this invitation. So thank you so much for coming up with this.
So before we start with like what the video is all about, is what you can see probably in the title of this video. Tell us about yourself, C.
I'm Z. I am currently here in Thailand. I'm teaching English to um, semi-college students already, like senior high school. I've met Ati Sally way back 2012, if I'm not mistaken. We served in the community for just a little background. We are from a Catholic community, and then we have been serving together for like 3 or more years. And then Ati Sally has always been that little big sister for me. So our friendships did not just revolve around, the superficial things like we go out and do this, but we also get to have conversations, which I truly miss, wherein we
Oh,
talk about, yes, we talk about anything under the sun. We talk about our concerns, we talk about our
yeah.
aspirations. And I think that's the biggest factor in our relationship. Like we don't always get to talk to each other, but we know where we will pick up every time we get to have a conversation.
When we do, we already know
Yes,
that
we
some.
already know. Like it doesn't always happen, but when it does happen, we know that there's really something that we have to talk about.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. Yeah, that's right. So I'm never sure that I have introduced myself as well thoroughly from my previous vlog. It's always been a travel vlog and I don't really talk about myself. I've only just started this series. I call it hashtag Get to Know May.
Everybody calls me May here
That's so
in New
clever.
Zealand, yeah. But in the Philippines, I've always been called Sally because my name is Saludin and my nickname is Sally. And I love being called Sally, and it's always been me. But it's really hard to explain my name here in New Zealand. Like when I'm getting to know people, it's so hard to explain my name. Like it's not that I need to really explain myself, but just making my life easy by just introducing myself as May. So thank you, Zee, for giving a little background. And I am May or Sally, and I am a registered nurse here in New Zealand, and I've been here for 3 years now, and I work in a aged care home, and I've been a missionary back in the Philippines with Zee. We go on mission trips in the community, which is a Catholic organization. Really have this great friendship, and as what she said, we always enjoy deeper conversations with each other. It's something that I miss because when I meet new people here, they think that I'm too serious. Because like I talk about life, I talk about how they are. I always ask my friends how they are, and some people are not very like comfortable with the topic of like just talking about themselves.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something that we are wanting to promote in this video, in this series. And yeah, come join us in this I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a very fruitful, and we hope that you will learn something from this. So
Okay,
we've
let's
done
get to it.
our first part, introducing ourselves. We have a few questions that will guide us along this video. So the first question is, Zee, why did you decide to travel abroad?
Okay, so growing up, I've always been kind of brainwashed that having a good life and a prosperous career will only happen if you get to, work abroad outside of the country, outside of your own comfort zones. But I was also aware of the fact that it was not something that will be just given to me. And then knowing how our finances were with the family, I kind of let go of that idea early on, not until I finished college. And then I've seen a lot of people, a lot of schoolmates who are actually making a name or making a life outside of our country. So I thought maybe I could also do it. So I started doing my own research. But again, at the end of the day, if you look at it on the financial aspect, it's not always possible for everybody, right?
Mm.
Yes, but what I also realized is that there are really some things that you have to sacrifice for. Like if you want to do this, and there are some things you have to let go.
Yeah.
And I, being in the Philippines, working as a teacher for 5 years already, I just didn't feel like I was growing, like on the career aspect. I was enjoying my work. The first 2 years, I was teaching kids. I was enjoying it. I loved being surrounded by kids, but it just didn't feel right that time. So I decided to stop teaching. I went to semi corporate, wherein I was working at a company, but we were still catering schools and the education sector. So I've been there for 3 years. I was very happy with my job. The people were lovely. It offered me, or it gave me, a decent pay. But I don't know if it's just like quarter life crisis that I felt stuck and lost.
How old were you when you moved into Thailand?
I moved to Thailand when I was 26. So a year after the quarter life crisis. So that happened. And then I felt stuck and lost when the opportunity came out of the blue. I had no plans of leaving the country that year. But when the opportunity came, I just said yes. Well, not right away, but I said yes eventually. And I decided to move. I just felt like, I think this is a cliche for everybody to say, like in our age, that at some point it's not all about money anymore. It's about wanting to do something that is meaningful and fulfilling. And it sounds very cliche right now, but it's true. It happened to
Yeah.
me. That would be my
Yeah.
ultimate reason.
Yeah. That's actually pretty much the same as me when I decided to come in. Well, actually, being a nurse in the Philippines, you're already expected to like leave the country and go abroad. But if like when you started the work in the Philippines and starting to earn money, sometimes you just like think of just settling in with a small amount of money that you have, or the salary that you have. Before I came here, I was really planning already beforehand that my future is going abroad. But when we started to serve in the community in YFC, I sort of discerned and prayed that maybe this is not for me, because I enjoyed what I was doing. I loved what I was doing. Going out to the community, serving the community, and serving the church was a different level of like satisfaction. But I didn't feel at peace at all, knowing that I have my siblings that I need to help as they grow up in their education, and also my family. I mean, we're not well off, so really need to help my parents. And I think going abroad is the ultimate answer to it. But it's not, as you said, it's not always a yes right away. Eventually we had to go through a process before we decided to go here.
Mhm.
So that leads us to our next question. When did you decide that you're coming to Thailand, or what was the process of like the decision making?
So basically, like what I said, the opportunity came out of the blue. It was around June 2019. I was about to renew my contract in the company early. It was supposed to be renewed late May, but then there were things that we had to take care of before the renewal of the contract. So I'm not sure if, but right now, all I could think of, it was just God who allowed everything to be aligned on that timeline. That
Mm.
instead of having our contracts renewed right away on the date that it was supposed to be renewed, there was just some backlogs because there was some rescheduling for the training. So we were not allowed to renew our contracts yet. And
Oh.
yes, and then
Mm.
before that date that we were supposed to renew the contract, I got a message from a schoolmate who is already working here in Thailand, because I have been asking him sometime around March if there's any opportunity, you could just beat me up anytime. But it was not really something that I was looking forward to because I had no plan. Although I felt stuck at loss at the moment, I also felt like my life was already good in the Philippines. Like I was earning this much money. I was able to help my family. I'm able to start saving up to send my sister to school. So, in a way, finances wise, it was okay. But I also felt like, you know, how there are silent prayers in our hearts, wherein we
Yeah.
don't include them in our prayers, but we know we have them here. And they
Yeah.
just keep on.
And something that you know in your heart, but
Yes.
you don't have the confidence to ask for it yet.
Mhm. Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you know that good things are happening in your life, you feel like it might be too much for us to ask for something more. And then just before my contract ended, I got the offer. And well, at first I said no because I was trying to weigh the finances, how much I would have to spend, and then how much I would have to give up. I had an entire life already in Manila. But also, it reminded me of my dream of exploring, of going out into the world and experiencing the life abroad. Probably it's the independence that I really want to have because it's a different kind of independence when you're still at your country. And it was my fear of the regret. Like I might regret not doing this when I'm 35.
The
So it
what
was,
if,
yes, all the
it's
what ifs. And
after the what ifs.
yes, and I am sure you're like me, that we're not the type of person who would want to deal with what ifs for the rest of
Yeah.
our lives, right?
Yeah,
So
we're not someone around and wait for something to happen.
I
No.
know. We make things happen for us.
Yeah.
And that's when it hit me. I immediately said no to the opportunity. And then, but I was not at peace. And I believe that when you're not at peace with a decision, you have to rethink about that decision. So that night, so I met two of my career friends. And then what they said to me was that if not now, when?
Mm.
So if not now, when? And then they wrote on a piece of paper, it said there last December that you create your own opportunities. And that was it. That was the turning point of my decision. My mindset back then was I have to do it now because I might not be able to do it anytime again.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you're very lucky and you're very blessed that you took that leap of faith. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
anything wrong, but
Anything could go wrong.
because you answered your what if, then it was fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also I've come across the phrase na purpose over passion. And
Mm.
siguro it's true no when you get older, you realize na you seek more of your purpose than your passion. Kay passion, although they say na passion keeps is like a fire burning in you, pero like any other fire, it also burns out.
It's like when you became professional na, and all your life people are telling you that you can't have a boyfriend until you graduated.
Yes.
But when the time comes, wala, no one is there.
No one knocks at your door.
There. So you're like, what's wrong with me? Everything seems
Seems to be here now. Everything seems to be falling into pieces, but except for this one thing, one maybe purpose. Yeah, it's something like that.
Or like on my end, as long as I know that I get to touch the life of one student, that's fine with me. So
Yeah, it's like
So I think-
getting tired but still being happy. I mean, some people are tired and they're just tired. But the tired that you want is the fulfilling tired.
naman, when we were going on missions, di ba, there was a point in my life where
Where I really discerned. For those of you who do not know, we grew up believing that when we discern things, it's not just asking things from God. It's also knowing if this is what God wants for us. So discernment is a deeper prayer and asking perhaps, and also understanding if what we're asking for is really for us. So when I was in the process of discernment, I was going on missions, going away from my family, traveling on my own, and really getting to know people. When I got really emotional because I was in a deadline, what do I really want? I want to go on missions, and but at the same time, I feel like my family is not happy about it. I mean, they will be for sure, but it's not the peace that I'm looking for. So yun, si Kuya Jerel, Kuya Jerel is our mentor. He told me that minsan kasi it's difficult to say no to the people who already are expecting us to do these things. It's hard to say no, especially as we're very people person. Part of us are also people pleasers. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bad thing, but in a way, it's also good, cause there's
it delivers.
yeah, we deliver. Give us a task and we deliver. So that was what I felt like. I was pressured na they will expect me to say yes to being a full-time missionary. But that was so hard to really tell Kuya na, Kuya, no. Kasi he told me, it's okay. I know it's hard to decide, but follow your heart. Mahirap naman yun. Follow your heart, but you don't really know what's your heart's desire.
Is telling you.
Yeah, like what really is. So I really appreciated the process of discernment, because it really led me to that decision of, yes, I'm gonna pursue this. I'm gonna pursue going to New Zealand, and whatever it takes, whatever they will think about me, it's gonna be my decision, and it's for myself. I mean, as the eldest sister, we're always used to putting ourselves behind for our loved ones, and we got used to it, even just not for our loved ones, but for others, for friends, and for those who we know. So Kuya Gerald told me that as long as you're at peace within yourself, within your family, within your friends, with everything, if there's something, even just a little bit of doubt with that decision, then that's not the right decision. So it was so beautiful to be able to understand what you really want. I mean, this goes to people out there, especially the younger ones, because I always have a conversation with my brother who is in senior high school now. I always tell them to follow your heart, but I know it's a hard thing. But if you feel like this is the right thing and there's no doubt you're happy, maybe not happy all the time, but most of the time you're happy, then it will end up to what you really want and what is really for you. I think that is the process of discernment.
How long were you in that process or in that season of discerning?
When I did mission, Kuya Jarel only gave me, I guess it was 6 months to 1 year. Yeah, I discerned for that long, and at the same time going on missions. It was really good. And we also have one-on-ones, checking in on each other. And by the time that I decided that, yeah, this is the right thing to do for now, and this will decide my future, then I was very happy. We always hold on to the promise that God will make our life prosper. God promised a life of prosperity. And I hold on to that promise. That it's gonna be a life of prosperity.
It's anchored to the Jeremiah verse, right? Like he
I
knows
think,
the plans he has for us. It's always for the good.
yeah, that one. Yeah.
Mm,
Sana
something.
magdala natin.
What was the posture of your heart, Z? When I know you had a discernment process before, when you were in Manila perhaps, maybe going through the bigger city, being away from your family.
I've always been very excited to get out
Oh,
because I've been so used to living in a small town where we know everybody. And it was clear to me when I first left home, May 2014, that I just wanted to get out. I don't want to see. This sounds really odd, but like I don't want to see the same faces every single day when I ride the cab to work. Then I go around the city. I see the same faces. I've always wanted to go out because I've always wanted to get to know more people. And I want to make connections. I want to create relationships with almost everybody that I meet. I think it was also the idea of my fear of being stuck with where I am. I don't get me wrong. I love where I lived. I love where I grew up. I love the people, but I was always so scared about being stuck with where I am. The posture of my heart when I first left home was I was just excited. So
oh,
it was very superficial. Like I would get to have a different level of independence. I would get to decide for my own. I would get my own place and all that. So it was at first it was just like an adventure. Like I was about to embark on an adventure, and that's just it. But the longer I was on that adventure when I was living in Manila, the more I felt like there were really some things lacking in my life. My relationship with God um, has always been very personal. I do have a strong grasp of my religion, but I was also sure about the kind of relationship I had with him. So it was very personal, and all at the same time, the more I explored, the more lost I felt. So the more I tried to find myself in places I shouldn't be looking for, the more I felt like I was losing myself in the process. Like what they
yeah.
say, when you get older, you realize that there are a lot of things which are more important. You really seek for things that, or experiences or opportunities that will really last you long, that will really, I don't know, I think this is something we both share, that we like to make things complicated. to make it more meaningful.
Yeah.
For us to learn through something, we try to make things complicated.
Hey guys.
Let's just be honest now. So
Yeah, that's the hard way.
so I think that was it.
You're so excited with the process because you didn't think that you will fail. Was that
Mhm.
part of? But were you scared?
Well, I was very scared. I was always excited, but I was also always very scared. But I was very confident because I was young, and I've had certain struggles in the past, and I know that God has always been there. So I was very confident of that. I was very confident of the relationship I had with God. So I was excited and scared at the same time.
I think making a big step is always partnered with fear.
Yes, it is. And like what you also mentioned earlier, like as an ate, as the elder sister in the family, our decisions should not always be just about us, should not only benefit us, but would
It's
also
quite hard.
benefit, right? Our siblings, our parents. Is this something that will make my parents proud and happy for the next 5 to 10 years? So it was all about that. I wouldn't be talking like this right now if not for all the decisions that I've made. But despite the fear, despite the doubts, I've always also had this attitude that I want to own up to my decisions. I want to embrace my discernment. And I'm not sure, but um, right now, I no longer believe in wrong decisions.
Yeah,
Hmm,
that's right.
right? I know
Yeah.
before I was very conscious, is this the right decision? Which is the right decision? Would this decision be wrong? But right now,
Mm.
I realize that there's no such thing as wrong decision. You just
Oh.
have to make the decision that will give you more peace, and the decision that, well, you also have to make sure that it does not only give you peace, but will also give peace to those who are around you.
As for me, I was really hopeful. I was hopeful that it will come. That was the journey of everybody. It's usually the same. But it wasn't hard because I failed the English test 3 times
Yeah,
until
I
I
remember that
yeah,
story.
until I took another path. Even if the posture of my heart was like hopeful and like confident confident, still I was so like discouraged that I failed the English exam in just one area in IELTS, just in writing. And because of that, I was like, oh my god, I questioned the promise. I questioned God's promise, if this was really for me. But I didn't give up. I thought, oh well, it's just money. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm not earning enough here, but I have a house, I have a family. So I was also blessed that I have my family, and we have food in the house. I didn't have to be pressured to go find another job. It was a struggle because the discernment process, well, the discernment process is already done because I already decided to go. But you still think that you have to go back to it, especially when you have this failure. Diba?
Yeah.
When you said that you're kind of confident that you will not fail because you have this relationship with God. You prayed for it. You discerned for it. He gave you the answer. The question is when, and what are you gonna go through before that decision or before that promise. So it was really hard, and I think the posture of the heart is really important. If your heart is weak, then you'll just give up suddenly, just like that, and you'll just settle for less. But because we don't settle for less, we always keep on trying and trying and trying until we get what we want. We're those kind of girls that if we have to do things all over again, we have to start from scratch. Even if it's not easy, we have to. But it's hard because our family are expecting so much from us. I'm glad that I didn't stop and I hang on to the promise. I hold on to the promise, and the posture of my heart was hopeful and confident. I was so blessed that that's the state of my mind and my heart. Otherwise, we're just gonna
We
yeah.
be where we are right now.
Yeah, we won't be where we are right now. And there was a waiting process. There was a long waiting process. But I think that the waiting game, the phase is and trusting in God's promising. I think that's the highlight of this journey because it was hard. We saw the best in us and also the worst in us. We can't cut short to the journey, to the destination, I mean. So it was a blessing.
Yeah.
Really, that's the beauty of waiting.
I know.
Like, you just don't wait and do nothing. People think that waiting is just like, oh, you're just waiting for something. But in the in-betweens, it's not very much amplified. It's not appreciated when that's the most important thing, I guess.
And we won't be able to see the blessing we have now the way we see it if not for all the hardships we've gone through. And I think it's also a good thing, like for us, that even before all those hardships, we are blessed to have learned the value of prayer time and the value of having a lot of prayer warriors. Because I think for me, those two are the things that kept me on track, especially on the times when it was very easy to submit into doubt, submit into, just blaming God for everything.
Or on nature.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not holding on to God and your prayers, then nothing will happen. Really.
So I guess that's the gist of this video, guys. That it is really a blessing to wait. There is really beauty in waiting and trusting in God's promise, no matter how long it will take, and no matter how much things or challenges that you will have to go through before you become at peace. And because right now we're feeling like we're at peace, we're settled because as for me, I'm living in this beautiful country. I'm helping my family, and I'm happy with my job. I'm very happy with my job. And even if I'm tired, I'm still feeling fulfilled. And that's the kind of life that we wanted. I mean, we're not stopping in, growing and improving ourselves and taking care of ourselves, but we have to go through that one to be able to be in this phase. And for sure, we're not stopping. We're still gonna seek for something more. We're not stopping here, guys. So I think that's it, Zee. Anything else that you want, any learnings that you want to share?
Well, I think I'd like to leave everyone with the thought that although sometimes God does not answer his promises right away, we really just to be steadfast in our prayer. And once you think that God already has answered your prayers, I want everybody to also acknowledge that it's not gonna be happy at all the time. It's not gonna be easy all the time, because when blessings are truly worth it, it will always come with a difficulty. Because sometimes when we get too excited, too happy, we tend to take advantage of things. And God does not want us to do that. So whatever blessings we have right now, it won't always be happy and easy. But even though it's difficult, it can get difficult and sad. But it will no long it cannot be compared to the kind of peace that you will have at the end of the day, knowing that no matter how difficult and sad moments get, you know that God will always carry you through everything.
Amen.
Yes, I think that's it. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for watching this video. Thank you, Zee, for giving this time with me, for joining me in this journey, because I really don't have the confidence to do this on my own. It's really hard to be just talking here without having somebody to talk with. I tried before, but it's really so awkward. So thank you, Zee. You have been my
Thank you,
karamay
for
in
having
this. And it's been a great talk. It's been a great conversation. It's so
Yeah, more
inspiring. It's so inspiring. If you have questions, just comment down below. If you have any other topics that you want us to discuss, just comment down below. And if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Also follow Zee in her social media accounts and her future YouTube channel. The next time she will be making her own YouTube channel, her travels in the beautiful Thailand, and also some adulting tips, lifestyle videos. And yeah, thank you guys for being with us. It's been a great journey, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.